Welcome to the Clementine Line Aquabus. This boat tour will take you to the magnificent Court of Fontaine, the most important city in our nation. I'm Aeval, and I'll be your tour guide for this trip. Even though I'm not as reliable as Elphane from the Navia line, I'll still do my very best. And if you're dissatisfied with anything, feel free to let me know right away. Oh, wait a sec. Please contact a staff member with your feedback after reaching the station, and we will address your concerns as soon as possible. Back on topic. The destination of this trip will be the Court of Fontaine. If you'd like to learn more about the latest technological developments in Fontaine, the hottest new trends in cuisine, or upcoming sensational trials, please subscribe to the Steambird. The Steambird runs lots of fantastic serialized novels, including the thriller Great Detective Hurlock, which recently reached its dramatic conclusion. Right at the very end, Hurlock faces off against the real mastermind, revealed to be the assistant, Miss Jacoba, in a duel at the old site of Lilia Cruces Ordo. I couldn't stop my feelers from shaking. Oh no, did I spoil it for you? Oops. Anyway, coming up ahead on your left-hand side is Merusea Village, the hometown of all Melusines, myself included. It's deep below the ground, just over there. We will now pass through Poisson Tunnel. Now that I think about it, very few people tend to take this line. Maybe it's because humans don't really like deserts? After all, the most popular route in and out of Fontaine is through Liyue's to Neuvillette. I've heard that in places with lots of sand, even clockwork meka will start to malfunction. I mean, no rational person would try to cross a vast, hot, and dry desert to get to Fontaine, right? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to imply that you were irrational. Looking ahead on your right-hand side is the Elynas, where the Opera Epiclese is located. Do you see that really tall structure? I once asked Elphane, what's that big old thing? She said, no clue. What's the use of learning the meaning of things? But anyway, Elphane is a super amazing and super friendly Melusine. If you have a chance, you really should take the Navia line and listen to her tour. Behind me is the destination of our tour, the magnificent Court of Fontaine. Please take all of your personal belongings with you when you disembark. Oh no, I almost forgot. Ahem. While aboard the aquabus, please keep your head, hands, and other body parts, as well as your canes, swords, cameras, and other personal items inside the boat at all times. The aquabus operator bears no responsibility whatsoever for any injury or loss incurred as a result of disobeying the rules. Maybe it's a bit late for the disclaimer. Anyway, I'm happy you've had an incident-free journey today, and it was my pleasure to serve as your tour guide for this trip. Thank you! Okay. I'm back to work. Please take your seats. It's time for our merry departure. This aquabus tour is bound for Romaritime Station, and I'm your tour guide, Aeval. I'm here to tell you all about the amazing scenery we'll pass by on the Clementine line. Even though I'm not an expert tour guide, when it comes to interesting stories and important places in Fontaine, I definitely know a thing or two. I hope that my commentary will give you a newfound appreciation for this nation, and that you'll be inspired to visit every corner of Fontaine, just like Elphane was. Passengers, if you look into the distance, you'll see Elynas, large as a mountain. The hometown of us Melusines, Merusea Village, is right over there. There's a story about our hometown that I really liked growing up. The legends say that long ago, Elynas came to Fontaine and asked the people, is there anything I can do? the time, we Melusines were super tiny, and our hands were even smaller. And we were so sad that we couldn't build houses like everyone else. So the people said in unison, then why don't you become the home of the Melusines? And thus Elynas just rolled over right there and poof! It's been a few hundred years since then. When you think about it, everyone in Fontaine and Elynas really is gentle and kind. Okay, our boat is now passing through Poisson Tunnel. It's said that to deal with the crisis of the second diluvian period, some people thought about using the tunnel boring tech to hollow out the mountain and build a city inside. But if the water covered the mountain, wouldn't the people inside suffocate? Or were they going to build a super tall tower to breathe through? A tower like that would need to be super duper huge and really strong. Even with all the engineers and workers in the country, it would take hundreds of years to finish the work. So that plan definitely wouldn't work. As the operator of our lines likes to say, we aquabus tour guides carry a huge responsibility. Lots of tourists have no idea which shops are worth going to or what local specialties are worth buying. It's up to us to fill them in. If we tour guides do a good job, then everyone in the court of Fontaine will earn a bunch more Mora. It really motivates me when I think of how my work can have a positive influence on other people's lives. Even if there aren't many passengers, and even if I don't actually have that many stories to share, as long as I persist, the results will definitely come with time. Ding, ding, ding! Welcome to Romaritime Station, where this tour ends. Thank you for riding with us today, and if you have any suggestions or feedback, please write a letter to the tour operator. Sometimes the letters will be forwarded to me, and I'll read every single one carefully. Then, the next time you ride the Clementine line, I'll definitely provide even better commentary. And maybe, if I get enough good ratings, I'll get a bonus, and then I can treat Elphane to a huge meal. Then when you ride the Navia line, you'll meet an even happier Elphane. The ferry has set sail! Tour guide Aeval at your service! I'll start by telling you a bit about our destination, Romaritime Harbor. If you've been to the port before, you'll definitely have seen the huge lift. I've heard it's no small feat to make one of that scale. Not only that, but it's also designed to work using multiple energy sources. If you know any super rich merchants, that want to build really tall buildings, you can invite them to Fontaine to hire the designers of that lift. Or at least the people they taught their craft to. If you'll please look to the west, you'll see a vast mountain in the distance. That's what Elynas turned into after lying down. If some huge creature like Elynas comes to Fontaine again, but isn't as reasonable as Elynas, and causes trouble, then we'll probably subdue it with half the force of Maison Gardiennage. After all, there are a lot of forces protecting Fontaine right now. If you encounter something really dangerous out there in the wild, you can always come to Fontaine for protection. Coming to this tunnel, I can't help but think of the Fleuve Cendre in the court of Fontaine. It's really mysterious and fascinating. Before I switched jobs, there were always surprises every time I went there. The residents there have lots of personality. As soon as they heard I was working for the Maréchaussée Phantom, they would line up to talk with me. They showed a real interest in me and my work. Understanding is the basis of friendship. Maybe you'll make lots of friends with the Fleuve Cendre too. Okay, I guess we finally made it through the tunnel. If it was a clear sunny day, the glare of the sunlight might be causing you to squint right now. I heard the engineers are developing a mysterious kind of glass that can soften the light without any impact on your vision. A perfect add-on to your spectacles to help protect your eyes. As for the price, don't worry. Fontaine uses tons of glass produced with the help of clockwork meka. It's light, sturdy, and cheap. Maybe you'll be able to see those new products at the Fasari Passage soon. We're now arriving at one of the great gateways of Fontaine, Romaritime Station. If any passengers just want to tour the port below, we'll see each other soon. If you're planning to leave on a ship, then I hope you'll come back to Fontaine to enjoy yourself again someday. Oh, and also, during your stay, please seize the opportunity to purchase the Steambird. It's available from any newsie around the port. Or, if you have the time, you can go to the Court of Fontaine and buy even more copies. This is very important, because the Steambird is one of the aquabus's biggest sponsors. Because this newspaper is a Fontaine national treasure. Yes, that was it. Welcome aboard this aquabus, one of the most unique forms of transportation in all of Teyvat. This boat will take you from Romaritime Station to the Court of Fontaine. Normally, this line doesn't have many passengers, so you have your pick of the best seats. Oh, but you still have to follow all the passenger guidelines. These include not placing sharp tools flat on the chairs and not bringing overstuffed lunchboxes on board. We've had quarrels break out between passengers over things like that. Some even escalated into private brawls. Of course, Fontaine's rules state that if you want to fight, apply for a duel. So, those two passengers were promptly sent to the Fortress of Meropide, where they went on to live peaceful, disciplined, and well-mannered lives. So, all's well that ends well, but please do not follow their example. Passengers, the aquabus is now arriving at Poisson Tunnel. Though much of Fontaine is covered by water, there are also beautiful mountains and forests here. Key is one of our most iconic peaks. Lots of adventurers enjoy camping on its summit. I heartily recommend the experience to all visitors. With that said, visitors should also pay attention to personal safety and hire some locals or clockwork meka as bodyguards. The boat is now entering Poisson Tunnel. Everyone should now be able to see the light from the aquabus more clearly. Beautiful, isn't it? It's very different from the fluorescent materials used in Sumeru or the torches used in other countries. These are Fontaine exclusive nightlights powered by Indemnitium. Of course, Indemnitium isn't just for such trivial uses as lighting. Indemnitium is a power source, capable not only of powering this tiny boat, but also meeting the daily energy demands of an entire city. Plus, it's completely safe. You'll have the chance to learn more about this amazing power source once you reach the Court of Fontaine. Passengers, just to the outside of the track, there's a towering building that's blocking your view. Behind it, you'll find the pride of the people of Fontaine, the Opera Epiclese. The Opera House is the highest court where Fontaine holds its trials, so it's no exaggeration to say that it's one of the most important buildings in the nation. Of course, normal artistic performances are staged there too, but those can sometimes be a bit too avant-garde and confusing. Trials are much more interesting because Monsieur Neuvillette will always be present. I really want to ditch work right now and go watch a trial. No, bad Aeval. You're a model tour guide. How can you think about doing something so irresponsible? Okay, listen up. We'll be arriving shortly at the final destination of this tour, the Court of Fontaine. Please remember to bring your personal belongings with you and mind the gap between the deck and platform as you disembark. I've heard that in some nations, the locals will make special hand gestures to convey their best wishes to the passengers. But we Melusines don't have any traditions like that. However, some Melusines will doff their hats in the direction of Elynas. Or if they don't have a hat, they'll show their regards with their eyes. I hope to see you next time!
The aquabus will be departing now. Passengers, please take your seats. If you have any large items of luggage, these can be placed on top of vacant seats. Don't worry about taking up space. This boat has never been filled to capacity yet. Once, the barge for Opera Epicles employees broke down, and many of them took the aquabus home from work. That was the most passengers we've ever had, and even then there were still plenty of empty seats left over. Looking left from your current position, you have possibly the very best view of the Opera Epicles in all of Fontaine. Such beauty and magnificence. Monsieur Neuvillette truly chose to spend our Mora wisely. Here we are, back in the stately court of Fontaine. Please bring your personal belongings with you when exiting the craft. For any passengers in the mood for a shopping spree, Burton's House of Curiosities and Damovil's Purveyor are both excellent options, with a wide variety of Fontaine specialty goods available. But if you're low on Mora like me, you might find shops looking for helpers at the Vasari Passage. Some pay by the day, and their wages are very fair, so you'll have a steady income in no time. Hello, passengers. I am your tour guide for this trip, Elphane. We are now heading to Elynas. Many people are tried there, and sent to the Fortress of Meropide. But passengers needn't worry. Life in the Fortress of Meropide may be a good thing for certain groups of people. The construction of clockwork meka has no restrictions outside of patent law. Other than the Fontaine Research Institute, many private workshops are engaged in researching and building all kinds of clockwork meka. Some people will modify existing models, and other criminals will use clockwork meka for theft, robbery, surveillance, and illegal exploration, among other activities. If you encounter such a situation, please report it to the nearest Maréchaussée personnel immediately. We are now arriving at Marcotte Station, where this journey ends. Any passengers interested in taking a commemorative photo of their aquabus journey are advised to do so at the Court of Fontaine Station on the Clementine line. This is because the atmosphere there is much livelier. Plus, my diligent colleague Aeval keeps her boat in a much cleaner, photo-ready condition. And also, my Melusine hands struggle with holding cameras. Welcome, passengers from abroad. Tour guide Elphane, at your service. The destination of this aquabus is Elynas. The island experiences rainy weather all year round. I do not know if this is due to the frequent visits of Lady Furina and the Chief Justice. I recommend that all passengers bring a raincoat. If you haven't got one and need to buy one now, don't worry. The Navia line runs all day, so you can simply catch the next boat. Some people worry that the success of the engineers in improving meka will result in the replacement of humans and Melusines in Fontaine. Passengers, these fears are unfounded. Meka have no need for food, clothing, and shelter, nor do they seek happiness and entertainment, and will not spend a single mora in pursuit of these. In these aspects, we possess advantages that machines cannot hope to surpass. We've arrived right on schedule at Marcotte Station, Elynas. Please take note that cleanliness expectations are high in this area. Littering is heavily penalized and in some cases may even carry a prison sentence. So, I caution you against eating anything while enjoying the scenery. Many Melusines think that the rain is quite warm. At first, humans couldn't understand this. But after coexisting for a long time, we have become more understanding of one another. Now, some humans don't use umbrellas on rainy days, and there are Melusines who try to avoid getting caught in the rain. Anyway, this open-decked aquabus is now departing. If it starts raining during our journey, please, try to remain open-minded. In theory, clockwork meka are very precise instruments, and the experts from the Institute frequently stress that they must be handled with care. But if there's a problem, just give them a good hard kick or two, and it'll often be super effective. We have arrived at the final stop of this tour, the Court of Fontaine. If you're looking to get up to speed on the latest local news, I recommend a quick trip to the newsstand. All kinds of information ends up there. But don't hang around staring at other people too much, or you'll look like you're on the lam. The Special Security and Surveillance Patrol will be on your case in no time. The Navia Line aquabus is now departing. My name is Elphane. As you can see, I am an ordinary Melusine tour guide. Melusines can see many things that most passengers cannot, so perhaps our commentary will exceed your expectations. Even if it is not entirely to your liking, I will continue to read from the prepared commentary material. Thank you for your understanding. The Opera Epiclese is next on our route. The main performance stage of the Opera House is quite massive and very elegant. Some artists spend a lifetime seeking a single chance to perform there. It's just like the storylines you read about in novels. Perhaps you could consider taking a leaf out of Monsieur Neuvillette's book by defining a long-term goal for your life. It's a great way to keep motivated. We have now arrived at Marcotte Station. If any passengers are planning to attend the Opera Epiclese, I recommend that you eat before attending. This is because all food and drinks are banned within the Opera House premises. Even if you did manage to smuggle in some snacks, eating would be the furthest thing from your mind during the climactic moments of the trial. Your eyes will be glued to the stage. The Navia Line aquabus will now be setting sail. The security standards of the terminal station, the Court of Fontaine, are quite stringent. If you have a criminal record and are still designated as Fiche S by the Maison Gardiennage, you will be placed under surveillance by an agent the moment you set foot in the city. If in the future you end up appearing on the stage of the Opera Epiclese, all your words and actions can be used as evidence against you in your trial. Other than the 2 aquabus lines currently running, and a line that ceased operations due to an accident, there were originally 2 more planned aquabus lines. But after yet another incident, the final 2 lines were cancelled altogether. This tour of the Navia Line has now ended. When exiting the station, please avoid speaking with any reporters claiming to be from the Steambird. As an outsider, it may be difficult for you to tell whether they really are reporters. Some people merely wish to exploit your status as tourists from abroad to write sensationalized tabloid stories and aren't worth your time. It is time to depart. In accordance with the Fontaine Watercraft Transport Regulations, it is not recommended that you bring the following dangerous items on board the boat. Oh, don't be nervous. I'm just following established procedure and reading out the regulations. My instincts tell me you don't have any inclinations towards rule breaking, so I'm not worried about you. Supposedly, Monsieur Neuvillette also once said, water from different basins contains different emotions. Those may not have been his original words, but that is the general idea. The aquabus is now nearing Opera Epiclese. If any passengers wish to follow Monsieur Neuvillette's lead, you may consider tasting the water nearby. And perhaps you may get to taste all the flavors of Fontaine. The aquabus has now entered Elynas. Welcome to Marcotte Station. If you're hoping to meet the 2 figureheads of the Opera Epiclese, I don't recommend waiting around here. They use their own private transportation. I doubt this is because they don't wish to associate with the common folk. I suspect they simply don't wish to see their private words and deeds appearing in the Steambird blown out of proportion. The aquabus will arrive in the court of Fontaine to the wonderful aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Cafes are very important locations in Fontaine. They are where intellectuals and artists gather, and people can often overhear them discussing deep and meaningful topics. If you are willing to make up a few words or concepts and join in on their conversations, you may even be able to discover some useful intel. An article said the south side of this line shows the order of law, while the north side shows the advance of science. But if you ask me, that article was just trying to create opposition between the two. The aquabus will be arriving at the station soon. You seem not to have brought much luggage. If you have any later plans for long-term travel, you can drop by Beaumont Workshop and speak with Miss Estelle. Perhaps she'll be able to create a particularly sturdy suitcase for you, which can not only hold items, but also serve as a shield and weapon. If I am not mistaken, the latter will be of the greatest use to you. The aquabus is now departing. Passengers, please prepare for departure. All you need to do is select a comfortable seat in accordance with your preferences and settle into a relaxing position. The two lines in operation are leisurely paced, medium-speed aquabuses. Even if you have not taken your seat, you are unlikely to lose your balance and fall. There stands Opera Epicles, the pinnacle of all professional employment in Fontaine. To join, one must pass rigorous cultural, artistic, etiquette, and legal exams. Of course, a salary and benefits are also something ordinary people could only dream of. If any passengers are interested, you could consider registering at Mermonia to try your luck. This is Marcotte Station, the terminal of the Navian line. It is my duty as a professional tour guide to advise against exploring the ruins of the Fontaine Research Institute. Since the incident, there are many unknown hazards in the area, and much unclaimed property belonging to the Institute. With this said, today's passengers seem to be more up to the challenge than most. Have a pleasant onward journey and enjoy your time here. Hello, passengers. I am Tour Guide Elphane, and this tour is destined for the Court of Fontaine. In case you wish to study the most current and fashionable avant-garde art in Teyvat, or traditional and conservative classical art, Fontaine is the premier destination. Whether you can tell the difference between the two, and avoid being led astray by the charlatans in the city is, however, a separate matter. I was actually on track to earn an employment position at the Opera Epicles, but I gave up that opportunity due to a colleague I care greatly about, and opted for this line of work. The aquabus is now arriving in the prosperous Court of Fontaine. I recommend giving the Northland Bank a wide berth, as you may be dragged into business ventures. They call it getting rich quick, but in reality, it's simply crime. After all, banks are experts at handing out loans and preying on the poor and vulnerable. Here's hoping that all passengers are fabulously wealthy and scrupulously moral, so that you are immune to temptation. The people of Fontaine say that the Fountain of Melusine can grant wishes. The custom is to toss Mora into the fountain. But really, if the fountain truly had some kind of spirit, then they could just sit there all day and rake in Mora. Anyway, the Fountain of Melusine is a very popular tourist attraction. You should consider a visit. For passengers who enjoy swimming, please avoid areas with large quantities of fish. Fontaine is home to many unique fish species, some of which may turn a pleasant dip in the sea into a very painful encounter that your body's not likely to forget.